seems to me that every candidate that Press Progress attacked that remained, it was like the golden touch. If you were targeted by Press Progress, you slid home with 60 to 80% of the vote. I guess, Rachel Notley's foreign funded proxies weren't as successful as the mainstream media made them seem.
Every candidate that Press Progress attacked won, except for Kaylin Ford and Eva, who
the ones
resigned.
that didn't remain.
But if Eva remained,
Yeah.
she would have won.
I think
Her riding went UCP by a 3-to-1 ratio, and Kaylin Ford, I think she was such a stellar candidate. If she stayed, maybe she would have edged out Mountain View. The NDP did end up winning there, but every other candidate they attacked, Grant Hunter, Jason Nixon, Casey Madhu, Devin Dreesen, they won by margin 7-1 some of these.
Yeah.
I can't think of, I wouldn't want to be in their position to know that the work that they do is so futile. I know you're watching this.
They hate watch. It's okay.
I mean, they're having a bit of a rough night, I would say. They worked extremely hard to re-elect Rachel Notley, and Albertans just frankly disagree. But I think there's some interesting things we have to ask ourselves about third-party involvement in this election. We've looked at Press Progress, who has run an unrelenting campaign against Alberta's energy sector. We look at the big unions, who have run an unrelenting campaign against Alberta's energy sector, and yet somehow they supported the NDP, which makes me think, did they really believe the NDP was going to stand up for Alberta's energy sector, or did they say, what we're seeing from the NDP is the dog and pony show, the smoke and mirrors of, well, we're not going to win Alberta if we don't pretend to support Alberta's energy sector. So let's all play along, let's all play ball, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But then, I don't think third-party groups who are so opposed to our energy sector would campaign for politicians who are actually in favor of it. I think what we saw was that foreign-funded anti-Alberta oil campaign, and the NDP being called to task by saying, look, we don't really believe you. I don't think Albertans believe them either, which is why so many of them have been sent packing tonight.
Well, I don't believe them when they appoint people like Ed Whittingham to the AER and Sephora Berman to the OSAG and Karen Mahone to the OSAG and Tim Gray to the OSAG, all foreign-funded radicals deciding the fate and future of our oil and gas development. And, there's a whole other level in this, though, and it's the oil field CEOs who are cutting deals with Rachel Notley's government to support the carbon tax that I have to pay and they really don't. And working with people like Sephora Berman. Suncor worked with Sephora Berman to get in that emissions cap, and then guess who gets in under the emissions cap?
I bet you their tone is going to be changing.
Darn right it is.
With Jason Kenney.
He's the new sheriff.
There's a new sheriff in town. That's a good way to put it. And Jason Kenney is known as being a stickler. Throughout his whole time being Minister of Immigration with Stephen Harper, he was known as a pretty hard-ass minister. And he's not going to put up with these hobnobbing CEOs who are rich in their own right, just kind of coming up to him to brown nose. We know that's what they were doing with Rachel Notley this whole time. They never
Sweetheart
had any
deals.
That's an excerpt from my weekly show, The Gun Show. It airs every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Each week I bring you an informal interview with an interesting newsmaker or citizen activist you might not have heard of, but who is making a big difference in Canadian politics. And we'll talk about issues in a way you'll never see done in the mainstream media. To subscribe, go to therebel.media/shows.